I went to go learn from a Zen Master. I understood there was 3 that lived on a mountain, by a trail, alongside a stream, and that if you arrived at noon, one of them might pick you and teach you. When I arrived late. Nobody was there. I filled up my stew pot full of water from the stream. I built a fire. And I started putting everything in my bag into the stew pot. And I was thinking about, do Zen Masters teach people who show up late? You know, I started thinking about looking back on my life and just thinking about all the different efforts I've made to do this, that, or the other thing. Sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I fail. Sometimes there's consequences, sometimes there aren't any. And while I was still pondering this, while I was still stewing about this, while making stew, I look up and there's 3 people along the edge of the firelight. And I said, would you like to join me for dinner? And the 3 of them approached and sat down. And as I looked down to my stew pot, I realized there seems to be an awful lot more in there than I thought I had in my bag. And one of the people who sat down dipped their finger into my stew and tasted it. And he went, oh. And then the one in the middle pulled out of his pocket a spoon and a napkin. And he took 3 spoonfuls of my stew and then wiped his mouth and then set them down on the ground and sat back. And the third pulled out a bowl and a ladle, and he ladled up his bowl full, started eating it with real gusto until the bowl was empty, and then he filled it up again. Just really appeared to be enjoying it, just happy and just kind of like holding his belly and smiling and laughing. And I thought to myself, I think I'm with the Zen Masters, and maybe I should pick one rather than wait to be picked. And I reached across and picked up the spoon and the napkin, and I washed them in the stream. And I walked over to the 3 and said, let's go. And one of them stood up, and I followed him up the trail to the top of the mountain.